Welcome to today's episode of How the Game Was Won. And today we're looking at a game from the European Club Cup of 2015, paired between Sergei Rublevsky and Michael Adams. This game being played on the 20th of October 2015. And without further ado, let's see how the opening transpired. We had e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, d3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f5, knight f3, c6, knight g2, bishop b7, castles, h3, d5, e takes, b5, bishop b3, b4, d6, queen d6, knight d1, bishop b7, knight c3, c5, queen g3, queen d7, bishop a4, queen d6, b3, knight d5, bishop b2, f6 with ae1, bishop d6, knight d5, queen d5, f4, bishop c6, f takes an e5, bishop takes an e5, knight f4, queen d6, bishop takes an e5, f takes an e5, knight h5, rook takes an f1, check, rook takes f1, queen g6, bishop takes an c6, knight takes an c6, queen takes an g6, h takes an g6. So what we have, and we've got knight g3. So the queen's off the board, just about everything else is off the board, but for a knight each and a rook each, and 6 pawns each. What you can see over here is only 28 moves into the game, and we are effectively into the end game, which is what we're going to be having a closer look at. The position looks completely in white's favour at the moment because of the pawn structure. Black's got those nasty two isolated and double pawns in the g-file, which if white can take care of one of those, then white will be having effectively a 2 versus 1 pawn advantage running up the king side of the board. Then again, black's other problem is this isolated pawn sitting on e5 as well. Take care of that, and then all of a sudden white will be sitting with a 4 versus 3 situation on the queen side of the board. So both of these are definitely worth looking at. But then again, the white's position is not entirely free from dangers, because just looking at, for instance, that backward c pawn is a little weak. But then again, that c pawn can't really push up very easily because of the en passant threat that black's got there. And also, what's more, should white be pushing that c4 pawn, that pawn through to c4, that immediately will then trigger a knock on weakness on the d3 square. So it's not all over bother shouting by a long shot. So let's see how things panned out. We've got a5, knight e4, knight d4, rook f2, a4, knight c3, a3, and you can see that by playing that, it leaves white now with the problem of both the b and the a pawns are both fixed onto their squares. They won't be able to do anything much more for the rest of the game. And what's more, that backward c2 pawn is looking weaker and weaker as the moves progress. The game continued with knight d7, rook e8, knight b6, rook d8, king f1, knight b5, knight a4. As you can see in this position, the square on c3 is a superb outpost for the black knight to be targeting itself towards. And so by bringing the knight back down to a4, white intends to cover that C3 square to prevent black's knight from getting there. In the process, obviously, that white knight is now sitting trapped on the side of the board. Continue with rook c8, king e1, knight e4, king d1, rook c6, h4, g5, and absolutely a superb way for black to begin the activation of his king. h6, g5, king comes up to h7, and the position now is effectively, Rublevsky's position is completely bust because his pieces are all tied down onto squares and areas of the board where they have no chance whatsoever to be able to support each other. Whereas the black king is free to roam across the board without any hindrance from the white pieces and just pick up pieces as we go along. King c1, king g6, c3, b takes c3, b4, c2, knight c5, rook e6, rook f1, rook takes in b4, knight takes in b3, knight takes in b3, a takes in b3, rook takes in b3, king c2, rook b2 check, king c2, rook takes in g2, and from being 2 pawns down, black has now cleaned up the board to he's now cleaned up so many pawns of the board that he's now actually a pawn up. So he's gone straight from 2 pawns down to a pawn up in the space of the short couple of moves. Rook e1, a2, king b3, king f5, king a3, rook d2, king b3, g6, and a beautiful performance here by Mickey Adams, absolutely dominating and controlling the position. And in this situation, Rublevsky with the white pieces resigning the game, so that effectively is how the game was won. Please feel free to share this video out amongst all of your chess friends. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this type of content, thumbs down if not, that way I know what to be doing in the future. And last but by no means least, there's a big red subscribe button just below the video screen here on YouTube. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, that way you stay subscribed to my channel for all the new content that comes out on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. Stay carved up for the win out there. I'll see you next time. Cheers.